gotta trust the process, player. The process. The process. Welcome to the process, player. I say you gotta trust the cue the interview. I got some shit to say. How persistence about this business really got me here today. Kicking game, this a podcast, but this here a different lane. Hit you with some hidden gems, but then it's meant to entertain. Turn some loud.
Welcome to the process, and I'm your host, Cue the Interview. Hey, my podcast is to motivate, to inspire, and to encourage the game changers out there, the go-getters, to step out there on faith and do something y'all desire to do, and the hustlers, But today is my first episode to where I really did not know my guests. And I want to shout out Chris Mitchell, Brandon Green, and Ed Davis for introducing me to this guy. And hearing this story, I was like, oh, man, I got to have you on my show. It's like you are the illest guy in Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? So I had to have this guy on here. I don't know too much about him. So this is going to be new to me. It's going to be new to you guys. I'm introducing Jason San Lucas. No, that's not right.
St. Luce.
St. Luce. Yes, Blooper. It's the process. It's the process. It's the process. Hey, man, thank you for coming on my show, man.
You got it, man. So what you want to talk about?
Man, listen. All right, first one, who is Jason?
All right, so I grew up in Hiram Clark.
Okay.
Yeah.
You in Madison?
No, my mama didn't let me go.
No.
Yeah. So my mama didn't let me go. So I went to Bella High School.
Okay.
Went to Bella High School. Then after Bella High School, I went to UL Lafayette, Louisiana.
Okay.
And then I had too much fun. So my mama brought me right back home.
Come on, Mom.
And then I had to go to a
PV.
Christian.
You the PV?
No. She sent me over there to pray. I had to go to HBU. I had to go to Houston Baptist University and get my praise on. You know what I'm saying?
Get
a little
right.
calm down, and
Okay.
then I graduated from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you graduated from HBCU?
HBU.
Mm-hmm. What did you do?
Oh, so actually I got a degree, which is good, right?
It's supposed to be.
Right.
It's supposed to be good.
Okay, so let's back up so I can tell you the story.
Come on with it.
All right, so I was at Houston Baptist University. I was sitting in, I can't remember, I think a business class. And I remember a gentleman from KBR came in and he was like, anybody want to make $100,000, right?
I do.
So everybody in class was like, raise their hand.
Yeah.
Everybody was cool. Everybody was like, man, I want to make $100,000. And then he say, it's in Iraq. Everybody kind of like, everybody hands drop. And I was like, man. So then I'm like, man, but it's 100 though. So then, he gave me his card and he said, man, call me. And he said, out of everybody in the classroom, I was the only one to call him. Mm-hmm. And so I called him and I said, I was like, man, I'm about to graduate and I really don't have a job. And he was just like, I got you. Mm-hmm. And
you had a kid at that time.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. And actually I had a kid, so that was extra pressure to make sure that I had it all together.
Right.
And so even though it was just the process,
right.
I knew that I had to take a job to at least be able to take care of him also.
Right.
But that was the thing too, because it was a distance.
Right. You gotta be.
I was like, yeah. So I was like, man, do I take this? Do I do this? But when I tell you, it was probably the best decision ever, man. I called him up. He told me, he said, yeah, it's in the middle of Iraq, but don't worry about it. You're gonna be protected by the U.S. government.
Okay.
I mean, by the military. Uh-huh. So I was like, all right, cool, and then
still nervous.
Yeah. I'm like, man, but I'm like, man, I'm going to a war zone.
War zone.
Right.
They shooting over there.
Yeah, and they for real.
Too.
and so so then he called me back and he's like, fill out this paperwork and send it back to me. So I filled out the paperwork. No, let me reverse. I went home to tell my mom. I like, Mama, I'm about to go to Iraq. I just want to see what she say. I'm about to go to Iraq and I'm do construction estimating and I'm gonna do that, for a couple years. And she was like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, being a black mother, she like, bro, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Mom, well, it's something I got to do.
Oh.
And I said, I feel in my spirit that this is time for me to spread my wings. And I feel like if I miss this boat right here, I feel like I will always kick myself in the butt about it.
Right.
And so the guy called me back and he was like, all right, your contract is sent right back to your email. Sign it. You good. You leave September. Sit. Signed it. Signed 100,000. And then a hurricane hit in 2008. I can't remember what hurricane that was.
Okay, that's after Katrina.
Yeah. So a hurricane hit. Instead of leaving like in September, like it was a long time, like a 2 to 3 weeks. My mama sitting there talking about, see, God, it's not lining up. It's not lining up for you. It's not. It's not lining up. It's not meant to be. And so we talked about it. And that final day, man, I remember when I walked into my mom, I said, all right, Mama, I'm gone. And I could tell like she was not
feeling it.
She was not feeling it.
My baby.
Yeah. And so then I got on a flight and I flew 17 hours, bro, to Dubai. And I was like, dang, I did it, right?
Yeah.
But then I really didn't do it because you got to fly from Dubai to Iraq.
Oh.
So when I flew into Iraq and I seen the military with their guns locked and loaded. This is my first time ever really seeing the military in a war zone. Like, you know, the plane flying down and the military got their guns and they ready to go. Okay. And they walking you through a dark airport. So you walking through a dark airport in a line, you can't see nothing, and you just praying. I start praying like, Lord, please. Like, yeah. I like, let me make it, you know. But then, man, we got on the bus and we got there and I seen Popeyes and Burger King and all that.
Yeah. I was like, we good. It was a little shaky at first.
It little shaky at first, and then you know you get there and they put you in a tent. So I'm like, man, I'm in a tent. Yeah, you know, I'm like, man, I'm in a tent, and I'm like, you know, it's dark in here. You know, you can't be loud because other people sleep. You know, it's a bunch of people in there. Oh. And so, you know, what I figured out is because I had a degree, and because like I was going into the executive branch basically of the whole program. Okay. You know, of the project management office.
So you started from the bottom.
Yeah, I was gonna have a container.
Right on.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of being in the tent. You know, so I was gonna move it on up.
Okay, good times.
But this was just transition.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You know, so then I went to work the first day. I seen everybody. Nobody looked like me. I was like, man, it's an office. It's an office full of 10 people, and we got Texas A&M here. We got UT over here. We got UC Berkeley over here.
But they don't look like you.
They don't look like me.
So you got to perform, though.
So now I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, well, I got to show out now.
I got to show out.
Yeah. And so, like I said.
Give you some extra drive?
It gave me some extra drive, and I went through that whole process. To tell the story is sometimes you got to step out the box. Okay. To go to a different height or to go to a different level, you know. Okay. And so you may not do all the things that you want to do because I didn't want to go to Iraq. Right. That's not what I wanted to do. Right. But I knew that if I did something out of the box, it would pay off 5 years down the line. Right. And I feel like it did because it prepared me for all the things that I'm doing today. And maturity. Exactly. Right on. Yeah. So how long were you at KBR? So I did that from 2008 to 2011. Okay. And so then I did that. I did construction estimated. I traveled all around the world actually because, you know, you get 2 weeks off. So I went to different places. Yeah, it was great. It was great. So after KBR, your next venture? So after KBR, when I came back, really, man, to be honest with you, I couldn't find a job. Oh. Like, man. I was like, man, it's like 2011. I'm like, man, I just went to Iraq. I did estimate, man. Come on, construction companies, like, let's go. Yeah, nah. And so I was like, man, talked to my uncle. He has an independent insurance agency for 30 years at that point. He been doing insurance. I worked at his insurance office. I was in it for a long time. Right. And you know, he wanted me to come work with him. And I was just telling him, I was like, I'm not coming to work with you. So, you know, because, I mean, I remember the days of when I got paid $100 a week. Right. And I'm not going back to that after I came back from Iraq. Right. Making $100,000. Yeah, I'm not in the business. You know, so at the end of the day, you know, we talked about it, and I was like, man, I want to do my own thing.
Okay.
So I found the office in Pearland, and I remember just you know, just being like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna do that. So I remember getting the office, sitting in the office, and I have no clients.
Dang.
I have nobody. I was like, okay, man, my office pretty.
But you've been here before, though, from the Iraq thing.
But I've been here before.
Right on.
And so I understood, what I understood is, if you can't be afraid to step out.
You can't be afraid.
Right? So what I did is, I went back to my roots. Hey, I got partners. Hey, man, y'all need insurance? Hey, man, y'all need this?
Okay.
So then I started
cold calling.
Exactly. I started cold calling, and I'm not gonna lie to you, my uncle threw me a couple.
Yeah.
After he saw I was, you know, he
was serious about it.
Yep. When I was serious about it, he threw me a couple, and he was like, "All right." He like, "I want you to be successful."
Right.
You know, but I'm not gonna give it to you. So so I did my independent insurance agency, man. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Great learning experience. But then I got married.
Okay.
And so when at that point the bills start hitting a little different.
Yeah.
You know, so I came to a crossroad, was like, okay, do I want to get married? And then I still got my son too.
Right.
So I mean, that's the thing.
It's amazing.
You know, and so I'm like, man, okay, I made enough money to take care of me and him, but now I'm now I got to bring somebody into the fold.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one of the things that I felt like it was tough, because I had to make a decision of how am I going to take care of her, and it wasn't happening.
Okay.
And so I still got my independent insurance agency, but then I always wanted to do pharmaceutical sales.
Okay, before we get to pharmaceutical sales,
go ahead.
If someone wants to get into the insurance thing, is it? Do you suggest a mentor or just jump into it?
I would say if the independent insurance agency, you're going to need a mentor.
Okay.
Hands down.
Okay.
And if you wanted to just do State Farm or Allstate, then I would jump into it.
Okay, so now.
But you got to get your license.
Get your license?
Or State Farm and Allstate will pay for your license.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So it's a catch-22. It's like, if you want to be independent, you got to do everything on your own. Long term, it may be more lucrative.
Right.
But if you were just to say, okay, I'm coming out of school, or I just wanted just a different career path, I would say go to one of those State Farm and Allstate.
Is independent insurance worth it, the money wise?
I tell you like this. I tell you, if you make it past year 8.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and so that's why I tell everybody, you start. I had a nest egg in order to be able to do that.
Okay.
If you don't have that nest egg, like, I think the best thing to do is to say, okay, you know what? Let me go work for State Farm and Allstate for a little bit until I learn the business, and then maybe step out on my own.
Okay. So now you're an entrepreneur, insurance. Now you say you want to do pharmaceutical sales.
Yeah.
What is pharmaceuticals?
Okay, so pharmaceutical sales is basically, it's a product. Basically, you're a salesman selling a pharmaceutical, which is a product, which is a drug. So like when you get prescribed something at the doctor's office, there was a rep that sold that. Everything in the doctor's office is sold to that doctor's office. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to get that doctor to write more prescriptions.
Right.
And so basically they call it pharmaceutical sales, but basically they give you the list of doctors if it's if it's cardiology, if it's diabetes, what have you. They give you the list. It's just up to you to go see who you're gonna go see.
Wow.
You know.
So you're saying the doctors basically got medicine that they're gonna subscribe that they bought for somebody else.
Exactly, because you got to think about
the middleman.
That's it.
Oh,
yeah. But it's another one of those things. It's the best kept secret, though.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So back again. Here we go. That it didn't look like us.
Right. Okay.
You know, and so like pharmaceutical sales companies, you could look at them as a whole right now, and you can count us in there, except like the Johnson & Johnsons and Pfizer and stuff like that. But I'm talking about like the smaller ones. You can just
get on in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
You know.
So, how long did you do pharmaceutical sales?
So I did pharmaceutical sales from 2015 to 2019.
Okay. So in that time, you went from the insurance. You say you need to make some more money. Pharmaceutical sales puts you kind of where you want to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Pharmaceutical sales is if you can get into pharmaceutical sales,
Get into it.
get into it.
Okay. So the next step is the next.
So the next step was my technology company.
Tell me about this name. This right here piques my interest right here.
Okay, so basically, I had a good friend in Los Angeles, and they were big in tech.
Okay.
And so I brought the business, he bought the tech.
Okay.
And so we kind of just merged them together.
Uh-huh.
And let me just say this. You don't have to be great at everything. Like, people think that starting a business, like, you gotta be good at technology, you gotta be good at business, you gotta be. Sometimes, just if you good at technology and I'm good at business,
Let's merge together.
let's merge together.
But what about the relationship though with that person? And everybody.
But you have to know who that person is. I'm
Right.
not just saying just go jump. I'm not saying just hey man, that boy good at technology.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying to go
Right.
jump. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying sometime that we try to reinvent the wheel in our head.
Okay.
And say that, okay, well, I need to learn technology. No, you don't. Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Sometimes you go. If he good at technology,
Let him be good at technology.
Let him be good at technology, and you be good at what you good at.
Right.
And then y'all come together.
Right.
And I think that that's the way of being successful. That's my formula,
Okay.
right? And everybody else, they don't have to know, but that's how I've been successful.
Okay.
And so what we did is we put the business technology together with all the experience, international business, and all that, and we put it together. And basically now we have a technology solutions company, and what we do is we focus on the bottom line of companies to help them with technology. So help your company to get money through technology, whether it be an app, website, whether it be integrating podcasts in it, what have you, augmented reality, virtual reality. We do it all. I don't like to say all, but basically we can help your company go to the next level through technology, and that's what we focus on. And we have some good contracts in the works. And it's happening for us.
It's happening for you.
Yeah. And we
Congratulations.
thank you. We have an office in Los Angeles, and we're building out one in Houston.
Also, basically, right now you really working out in Los Angeles, but you've been in Houston.
Yeah, exactly.
That is dope, man. So, what has been some of the challenges that you've been facing with this, though? It's all sweet. Everybody throw a pretty picture, but
it's I would say that you have to really, 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 really appreciate the process. To be honest with you, because there's so many steps along the way to be successful. And I feel like with us, one of the things with us, it was putting the group together.
okay.
Because we still plugging and playing. Like accountants, all the way down to people are your janitor. Like, you got to know that your team is strong.
Okay.
Not just from the center, but on the outside too, because everybody matters.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things that we did. I think that struggling to know people's strengths and weaknesses was one of our problems in the beginning.
Okay.
It's like we put something on somebody that person wasn't strong at.
Okay.
But they may be strong over here. And I
Okay.
think it was just learning our team. I think that was the biggest thing. And also understanding what niche market we needed to attack.
Okay.
I think that was something that we did
So
too.
with developing this team, you're from Houston. Your team is in Los
Angeles.
So how was that kind of relationship? They're finding each other.
So
is your partner?
So, yeah. So actually, it's funny. So I got a team here also.
Okay.
Right. And so my partner in Los Angeles, actually, we were cool before we even,
Okay, cool.
Before he even moved to Los Angeles.
Gotcha.
And so that was, we knew each other, but I don't think we really knew each other. But it was just like plug and play though. Like, me and him was cool with it.
Okay.
It was good. And then we had investors and other people behind us to help push us through.
Okay.
And
So at one point, now is y'all plugging and playing, everything is going good. Were there any setbacks in the beginning
Money.
Okay.
It. I mean, it was.
How did y'all push through that though?
So honestly, through the grace of God, we had an investor who's a doctor, bro.
Okay.
And he wanted us to see us go,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted us to. He basically told us whatever we needed to be successful, he was gonna make sure we were good.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, I've never been told that before as a black man.
Okay.
Like I've never heard anybody say that I give you money and you just go.
Right.
But I guess that's how it happened for other races.
Okay. It does.
And so I was kind of blown back by it. So I didn't really trust it at the beginning.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, well, you said that you'll give us any amount of money.
You said this.
And then you told me to quit my job. So you told me to quit my job. You told me to quit my job. You told me to trust you. And you was going to make sure everything was good financially for us until we got to the point to where the business could stand on its own. That was tough, bro.
That was tough. You got to tell your wife this. You got kids. You got, stepping out there on faith.
Exactly. And so.
What'd your mama say?
My mama was like, my mama knew him.
Oh, okay.
So my mama knew that he was a good person.
Okay.
And she was like, sometimes, son, that may be God just talking to you.
Cool.
And so I was just like, all right, well.
Mama said.
Yeah. But it still was to depend on somebody, though.
Mm-hmm.
That because I've never depended on somebody. Of course you depend on your parents.
Right.
But I'm talking about, like, actually depend on somebody to say, I'm going to support you in whatever you do.
Right.
Whether you succeed or whether you fail, I got you.
Got you.
And so it was just one of those things that I think that we kind of took a step back.
Okay.
And it really made me look at business a totally different way.
Okay.
Because it made me, I say, man, this right here is how business is supposed to be ran.
Right. Okay.
Because at the end of the day, if you have funding, you don't worry about the bills. You don't worry about all that. So you could be the best you that you could be.
Right.
And that, I think, when you can get to that point and you don't have to worry about your bills and worry about where the next meal is coming from,
right.
and things are not going good, like you know in the back of your mind that, well, at least I'm good and I know my next check is coming. Right. I know that I'm gonna get this bill paid. I know.
That's cool.
All you could do is just focus on your business,
okay.
and that's what we did.
Okay.
And I think that helped, and I think that helped us be where we are today.
Cool. So where are y'all today?
So today we currently have some government contracts that, because of the pandemic, they kind of slowed down.
Cool.
We have 2 offices in Houston and Los Angeles.
Okay.
Hopefully, here in the next, I would say in the next 3 to 4 months, it depends on how the pandemic and thing. We probably will have 22 employees.
Okay.
And hopefully we have a really, really good, lucrative year.
Hey, yeah, we're gonna speak that into existence. We're gonna speak that into existence for you, bro.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to talk about, man, you hit me with something that really just stood out. A lot of people not doing this, but you just purchased 120 acres of ranch.
Yeah. So we're gonna say 111.
111. Okay.
111.
Okay.
But yeah, man, it was. So let me just say this. I'm looking at the camera. It was tough, but I'm glad I did it, bro.
It was tough. Okay.
Why
you say that?
Because and I hate to make it a race thing, right? Like when you sit on a podcast and you talk about the black
man,
but I just want to say, like, it has never been modeled for me before.
Okay.
So how would I know what the rigors are getting land is? Like,
okay.
I don't, I don't know, because I've never been through it. Like, I had nobody to model in front of me that had 111 acres or
right.
even 10 acres.
Right.
To tell me, okay, this is how you go by purchasing it.
Okay.
And so I think, it's 2 35-year-old males trying to get in a predominantly white, I guess, agriculture. I mean, just business.
Right.
Period.
Because you just can't just have land and not do nothing with it.
Exactly. I mean, that's a big thing. Like one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get land and you don't have a game plan.
Okay. Did you have a game plan?
Yes. So basically, even before we even completed the purchase, we had to come up with a whole game plan and a business plan on what we were gonna do to even get this loan. And so we came up with cattle, hemp,
Okay.
bees, alpacas,
Tell me. Bees.
like honeybees. And so you know, in order
make some honey.
yes. And so in order to so I don't know if people know this, but in order to have a commercial hive, you got to have 100 hives.
Oh.
So that's when you become commercial, and that's when the companies come after you.
Oh.
You know, so you have to have 100 beehives. And so I'm not. I'm tell you right now, I'm not.
You the bee man.
I'm not going over there, right? On that part of the land, like y'all can have it. Hey
Okay.
man, yeah, like
That's
you know,
y'all do that.
Yeah, man, y'all do
Okay.
that. But you know, but that was mainly the thing. Like it was about the game plan and figuring it out. It's just like the cattle. Like I went to a cattle auction the other day. You
How
know,
was that?
That was cool, man. You know, they calling out the number 25, 35, 30, 35, 55. You know, you really holding up a paddle. You know,
Right. Was that your first experience?
Yeah, it was my first experience.
Okay.
And so I was in there, and I was like, man, I had my cowboy hat on and my boots on. You know, I couldn't.
You fresh.
Yeah, I had to. And so, but I learned. I was like, man, it's a different world, but it's cool to see. It's
Right.
like, man, they making money off this.
Right.
You know, and so you know, like, man, just to purchase the land and just have the all like business, so I can make money off the land. I think it's a
Right.
real cool thing.
That's real cool.
You know.
So then you said, what's alpaca?
An alpaca is an animal that like their wool is worth like a lot of money, like up to $60,000, like every time they get shaved.
Oh, that's that Frank Lucas.
Yeah. and so like, you know, you get alpacas and you can sell the wool and make money off of that. So I mean, you know, like when you think of having land, you also want the land to make money, so you don't have to sit back. And also the tax, you know, the tax breaks that you get on it, and just having the land, period, is a cool thing.
Right, it is cool.
You know,
but two guys of our color in this business,
okay.
and you stay in Houston. I don't know where your partner stay. And it's other races that does this for a living.
Exactly.
So how are you going to make sure that your stuff is protected?
So again, like I told you have to have a good team. So I got some guys. It's funny because sometimes when you doing a job, you don't think that you actually training for another job.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I had some guys who used to show up to my house and they used to ask me, knock on my door, and they used to ask me to do mulch every like 2 weeks. And I'm like, man, these boys will not go away. And so one day I was like, man, just do it.
Just do it.
And man, when I tell you, every 2 weeks they kept coming back and they kept coming back and they kept coming back and they do their mulch and they be like, Mr. Jason, is there anything else we could do? Can we sweep around the house? I mean, like, they just took care of me.
Young guys?
Young.
Okay.
You know, they was young guys. They actually graduated in agriculture. Didn't know that, though.
Wow.
I'm like, why y'all out here doing mulch? We just trying to make some extra money on the weekends, right? So they went to school to do agriculture, and they showed, and this was like 2 years ago. They told me this, so I kind of took that and put it in my pocket.
Right.
Like, okay, cool, you know, and so I took that and put it in my pocket, and 2 years later we go buy the land. Guess who I'm employed?
Them.
Right.
Right.
Because they took me to the everything to go get trailers and different and stuff like that. See, that's why I said you can't. I don't know agriculture, and I'm not gonna try.
Right.
And I know so many other guys in agriculture. Right. So now I'm gonna use them.
Yeah.
Plug and play them.
Right.
And I should be successful because they know. So that's kind of like
how you did it.
Yeah.
That's good. But and also the hemp.
Yeah.
You know anything about that?
Yeah. No.
And that's what you know too?
So my hemp guys, you know, I got a lot of friends in Los Angeles and a lot of guys that know that business. Okay. And so they're going to come down and actually, so we have a contract with some of the guys and they'll come down and actually do the whole process for us. So
man, that's really good,
you know,
man. Hey,
so
you so knowledgeable about so many different things. You know, I really appreciate you coming. But man, like I like to do like comedy events, man. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm seeing a lot of things. You can just into the stock.
Yeah. So actually, man, this is crazy because I'm telling you. I mean, I don't have no insider trading, none of that. But in the summertime, man, I was playing around. I mean, my boy, I was in Los Angeles, and I bought a stock for 25 cents.
Okay.
And today it's over $15. So
you up?
So I'm all right. So that's it's a cool thing, and I dib and dab and play. And I think one thing about the stock market too, I feel like people may look at like Tesla or one of the big guys, but I don't feel like that's the best way to learn.
Okay.
I feel like you need to learn on those 25 cents, 30 cents, because you could buy a lot of them. Right. And you could buy a lot of them and see like and educate yourself on what that 25-cent company does, because you may never know that, man, that 25-cent company, it could be Apple Watch. They make the little piece inside of it,
yeah, right.
and then that piece inside is gonna be all the Apple 7. So now it went from 25 cents to $300.
Gotcha.
It's about growth.
Right.
It's not about you. You're not gonna make $1 million if you invest in Tesla.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you start down and now you learn how the company grow, you gonna be like, man, I remember when it was 25 cents. Now it's over $200, and I just read about it. They just said that this could be something in the future.
That's it.
Right. And so that's kind of like, I mean, that's my take on it. I play with the low stocks. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't have some of the expensive stuff. Portfolio. Exactly. And I think that's something that us to teach yourself or read books and stuff like that. I feel like if you just get into it and just play around in it, you can get something lower than $1 and just put your money in it and see what it does.
That's what's up, man. So if you were to tell the audience anything, what would you tell them about Jason? Like, who are you?
Man, I just tell them that, man, I worked hard. Where I'm at, I'm not done yet. I'm taking care of the process. I'm going through the process, and I'm doing the best I can. Mm-hmm. And hopefully one day you guys will see me in some high places. So
come on, you're gonna be there. We Hey, Jason, I want to thank you for coming on our show, and we want to give you your props right now.
Thank you,
for being an entrepreneur and coming on my show as well. And once again, it's been a pleasure to meet you, and it's a pleasure for you viewers to watch. And hope y'all got some gems out of it and see Jason in the future. Once again, my name is Q, the interview, and you're watching The Process.
Trust the process, player. The process. Welcome to the process, player. I say you gotta trust her. Cue the interview. I got some shit to say. How persistence about this business really got me here today. Kicking game. It's a podcast, but this here a different lane. Hit you with some hidden gems, but then it's meant to entertain.